Today on Hidden Secrets Revealed Live. Real estate market highlights. Right now it's March 2026 as we're going live. And the real estate market is booming. Luxury properties and single family homes are flying off the market. At least they are in cities like New York, Houston, and across California. But we also have fluctuating prices and some wild developments and trophy assets, not to mention an evolving buyer landscape fueled by a thriving economy. Let me reveal this hidden secret to you live right now on Hidden Secrets Revealed Live. HSRL is a production of Safe New Media. Before you keep watching, let me tell you who this is not for. This show is not for you if you take yourself too seriously. If you are a seeker, let me be your guide to reveal to you accurate truth for yourself. Let me help you increase the quality and effectiveness of your life by revealing to you the hidden secrets of the universe. It's the only podcast of its kind right now on this subject, going live on X. Therefore, the most popular live stream podcast live right now on this subject, going live on X. This show is specifically for those who are seeking new perspectives, fresh ideas, and a willingness to explore new possibilities. My intention is to help investors like you stay ahead of the curve and make the most out of emerging opportunities. Today on HSRL, ladies and gentlemen, we don't talk about luxury real estate enough. But that's not the only thing billionaires are buying. Besides condos, we've got developers buying swamps and Houston selling mansions like they're Girl Scout cookies. Thin mint, more like thick mint, if you know what I mean. Being rich isn't a status symbol anymore. It's a competitive sport where the finish line is a pile of dirt in Brooklyn. You've got Jed Walentus over at Two Trees, dropping $38 million dollars on an industrial site in Gowanus. Gowanus. That place used to sound like a disease. I've got a bad case of Gowanus, doc. You know my doctor, Vinny Boombots. Yeah, stay out of the canal. I'm buying a swamp and waiting for the smell to become artisanal. Now it's a long term strategic play. That's how rich guys say, I'm going to buy this now and hope it stops smelling before I die. For those of you not from New York, Gowanus is famous for having a canal that is technically classified as liquefied vintage trash. The place that smells like low tide and broken dreams. The seller was some entity tied to Aaron Berger's family trust. Aaron Berger. Sounds like the accountant who quietly embezzled enough to buy the canal. You know what a family trust is? It's a way to make sure your grandkids never have to learn how to use a lawnmower. Everyone's talking about developer confidence in urban renewal. Confidence? It's not confidence. It's a hostage situation. Where else are they going to go? Ohio? Hey, honey, let's take our $40 million dollars and buy all of Cincinnati. No, they'd rather buy a toxic parking lot in Brooklyn because at least there's a guy nearby who can make a $14 espresso out of goat milk and sadness. And Jed's out here going strategic long term development play, baby. Translation: In 20 years, this toxic soup will be artisanal lofts with canal views. And I'll be on a yacht laughing while the rest of you are still paying $3,200 for a studio that smells like regret. And they always got a guy. Every deal has a guy. Jed Walentas led the deal. Of course he did. That name alone bought 3 buildings. You don't even need money with a name like Jed Walentas. The bank says, yeah, that sounds like real estate. You know, I'm starting to believe that high end trophy assets are seeing exceptional absorption rates in New York. Someone sold a condo at Columbus Circle for a record breaking $18 million. $18 million for a condo. People are asking, what does $18 million even get you at Columbus Circle? It gets you $18 million worth of Columbus Circle. Rich people are buying $18 million shoe boxes at Columbus Circle. Like it's the last helicopter off the roof of Saigon. That place sold for a record breaking $18 million. $18 million for a condo with a view of the park. And I assume the guy selling $8 hot dogs to tourists who just got pickpocketed. The buyer walked in, looked at the square footage, and said, perfect. This is where I'll store my existential dread and my third Ferrari. That's a very expensive way to still hear your neighbors argue about recycling. The craziest part is the pitch is always the same. You're not buying the apartment, you're buying the location. Yeah, well, at $18 million, the location should come with emotional support. I open the window. I want the city to go, hey, you're doing great, man. You expect that sort of thing in New York. But what about Houston? Not Houston Street. I mean, Houston, Texas. An $8.8 million spec home sells in under 30 days. Where exactly? 2331 Drexel Circle, built by 57th and 7th Luxury Homes. It sold in under 30 days, under contract in weeks, closing at like $8.2 million. Think about that. A spec home means the developer only guessed someone would want an $8 million house there. It's like a giant expensive Build-A-Bear for a guy who owns 3 oil rigs and a private zoo. That means they built it without even knowing who would buy it. That's confidence or insanity. That's like cooking a 12-course meal and going, somebody out there is hungry enough. The developer built a house for $8.8 million because he thought a guy with $8.8 million would want a house. And it turns out a guy with $8.8 million wanted a house. Yeah, some developer rolled the dice and said, let's slap a McMansion the size of Rhode Island in Texas and see if some oil money lunatic bites. And the lunatic bit faster than a gator on a pork chop. You know what that is? A feeding frenzy with better countertops. And California is having an identity crisis. Doing its usual, we're not like other girls routine. You got a $580,000 house in Santa Rosa and a $4.5 million place in St. Helena. Same region, completely different realities. That's not a market, that's a mood swing. You can drive 20 minutes and go from, I can almost afford this, to, I should have learned a skill. One guy buys a $580,000 place in Santa Rosa like it's a starter home. While down the road in St. Helena, some wine baron drops $4.5 million on a property that comes with its own vineyard and a sommelier who judges your aura. Same state, same economy, same affordability pressures, one zip code away. And the price difference is pour me a glass of wine. And the other guy says, pour me a glass of wine. And don't get me started on the redevelopment plays. In LA, they're doing these 9-unit proposals for adaptive reuse. They say it's a pragmatic response to land scarcity. Pragmatic response is the polite way of saying, we're going to shove 9 families into a building that used to be a tough shed. They call it high density housing. You know what else is high density? A coffin. But if you put it in mid city and call it infill redevelopment, you can charge $4,000 a month and people will thank you for the lifestyle opportunity. This used to be a warehouse. Now it's going to be 9 people pretending they're okay with each other. They always say mixed use. Yeah, it's mixed, all right. You got a yoga studio, a startup, and one guy who's definitely mining crypto in Unit 3B. Developers are out here turning parking lots into mixed use lifestyle hubs. Like it's 2035 and we've all agreed to live in pods. Is this confidence in long term urban renewal? Or is it the real estate version of the band's still playing, so keep dancing while the Titanic tilts? It's demand diversity, ladies and gentlemen, which is a fancy way of saying the rich are buying trophies, the developers are buying dirt, and the rest of us are trying to find a parking spot near the adaptive reuse shed. The ultra rich have so much cash sloshing around. They're treating $38 million Brooklyn industrial sites like scratch off tickets. Buyer confidence is robust through mid 2026, right? We don't care about interest rates. If you're buying an $18 million condo, you don't care about interest rates. You don't even care about the building. You're buying a place to hide your money from the ghost of your ex wife. Interest rates go up, markets wobble, regular people panic. Rich guys, they're like, should we buy New York, Houston, or a swamp in Brooklyn? And the answer is always yes. Because when you've got that kind of money, you don't worry about the market. The market worries about you. That's my time. I got to get back to work. Share this, retweet on X, subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube or Spotify. Listen, you are allowed to make fun of me, but only if your jokes are funny and you get my name right and you leave a review on Apple Podcasts. Visit my X profile to learn more. It's not necessary to follow me on X, but I follow other people who are funnier and smarter than me. But do what you want. Whatever you decide, you can now follow at Safe New Media on X. Team up with me to bring about serious advancement for each other. The plan is for our community to share with each other the systems, the processes, and workflows that we are successfully using in order to help each other grow. It's not a cult, but have you ever felt that deep, powerful sense of belonging that transforms your entire perspective? That's what awaits you in our community. As you hear me talking now, you might begin to imagine yourself surrounded by like minded individuals who truly understand your aspirations. Picture yourself waking up each morning with renewed purpose, knowing you're part of something greater than yourself. Your future self is already thanking you for taking this step today. The door is open, and all you need to do is walk through it. Belong higher. Join our inner circle. It's on Telegram. You can get in for free. There's a link at the top of the Safe New Media X profile. The official source for this show is safenewmedia.com/HSRL. I want to give loyal listeners of this podcast something. When I started my podcast, I had imposter syndrome. But then I realized you can just start a podcast. As a side quest, I can help you start your own podcast if you want. Free gift for you if you want to start a podcast, but you feel imposter syndrome. For a limited time only, you can get your copy of the Anti-Imposter Podcast Starter Kit at safenew.media. That's safenew.media. What I'm about to tell you next will shock you.
This is not an offer, solicitation of an offer to buy or sell securities. Past performance is not an indication of future results. Investing involves risk and may result in partial or total loss. Prospective investors should carefully consider investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses, and should consult with a tax or legal advisor before making any investment.
Before making any investment decision, always do your own research. This is not financial advice. Are you an accredited investor? Listen up. Today, owning a home now costs $52K more per year than renting. Families are stuck as forever renters. We're seizing the shift, buying 100 plus unit assets in growth markets. Few get in. Why? We don't need more money. We're looking for investors aligned with our values. We're improving quality of life at scale for hardworking families. Secure a place on our waitlist. Go to Inveresta.com. You can now subscribe to our newsletter. That secures your place. You can now receive your free guide. It's called Location Science 2026, 5 filters to find growth markets for multifamily real estate. Don't ignore the data before you invest. When you subscribe, you secure a place on our waitlist for the next opportunity. Most real estate people tell you to invest in your backyard, which makes sense if you have a good backyard with increasing population growth and job growth. But what if your backyard is in the wrong location? Avoid losing money in the wrong location. Hit me up on our X profile at Inveresta. Retail investors can send me a DM there. Let me know what kind of investment opportunities you are looking for. Accredited investors can get in touch with me today. Call my office. Go to Inveresta.com. Accredited investors only. This is not an offer or solicitation to the general public. Last thing before I let you go, I want to invite you to subscribe to Methods of Prosperity newsletter. You owe it to yourself to be rich. Society, our parents, teachers, and peers have conditioned us. They want us to be like them. They need us to comply. They need us to be conventional like they are. As Herb Kelleher, co-founder and CEO of Southwest Airlines, remarked, all the people that were telling me those things were expressing conventional wisdom. And if it's conventional, it ain't wisdom. And if it's wisdom, it ain't conventional. My name is Sean Ellen Fenn, and I'm obsessed with prosperity. This is the natural state of the human spirit. It turns out there's no limit. There's also many variables. Some keep their day job, others go all in. Some are entrepreneurs, others are value investors, but all of them have a certain mindset. Understanding what makes them tick grants us insight into our own journey. Methods of Prosperity newsletter is for anyone who agrees that success leaves clues. It's the most popular newsletter to brainwash yourself rich. Become a renegade billionaire. Go to safenewmedia.com/newsletter. To become a billionaire, one must first be conditioned to think like a billionaire. You can now subscribe for free at safenewmedia.com/newsletter. Join our community at the for Methods of Prosperity. There's a community in Telegram. Check it out. Thanks for making this the most popular live stream at this hour on the subject, broadcasting on X, formerly known as Twitter. Hidden Secrets Revealed Live is a production of Safe New Media, unconventional, diversified global digital media company devoted to the practice, administration, and dissemination of the ideologies of its founder, moi, yours truly. My name is Sean Allen Fenn, and this is definitely not a cult. I like you, but don't take my word for it. Decide for yourself.